All right, guys, welcome to another Sailing Doodles podcast. So, if you may have noticed, I'm doing some different stuff these days, doing some news and then some regular podcasts. This one is a regular podcast. Specifically, sometimes I go into various topics, that you might be interested in. But this one is actually an Ask Me Anything. So it's kind of a lightning round question from all our patrons and channel members and Sailing Doodles Navy, all that. So about a week ago, I asked them on there what they want to know about Sailing Doodles. Ask me anything, and they came up with a list. So I am going to get to it right now. It broke it down into about 8 different categories here. All the questions are there. I'm not skipping any of them. Well, I haven't actually read through all of them yet. So if there's some of them that are too weird, maybe I can't answer. But I plan on answering everything I can here. So the first section, I guess, would be about personal and relationship questions. So, how is single life? That's from David Haney. By the way, cheers, guys. Let me say salud. Cheers to you. Single life is, great. No complaints. It's only been, maybe about a month. I guess, yeah, right at a month now, almost to the day. So, since Amanda and I split up, we've kind of kept in touch a little bit, especially at first. There's some stuff we had to coordinate, but like now it's, I don't know, she texted me last week about some kind of question on YouTube. But yeah, we really haven't talked much since. And single life, it's, I spent maybe a week by myself in Fort Pierce before we left and then sailed over by myself to the Bahamas and, was in Walker's Key for, good almost a week. They're like basically alone. There's nobody else on the island. So I've kind of had a lot of time to myself. There's no dating life out here. we're in the Bahamas. There's, no single people to date. So just the way it goes. But yeah, sure. I'm doing fine. Are you and Amanda still on friendly terms? Is there a chance she'll be back? Glenn Goodall. Yeah, we're still on friendly terms. It's not like we left on poor terms. Like I said a minute ago, we haven't really spoken much lately, and that's just kind of maybe me. I'm sure she would probably like to speak more, maybe. I don't know. But that's probably me just trying to put some distance there because we got to move on. If we sit there and keep talking all the time, never move on. Don't get me wrong. I'd be happy if she came back or whatever, but it was under the I'd be happy. It's, how do I put this? I'd be totally happy if she came back, but I would like it to be more of a serious relationship, and that's not where this was going. So, it's just kind of, it is what it is. Was the breakup sudden, or something you've been talking through for a while? What were the main causes? That's from Mark. No, it was not sudden. We kind of knew it was coming for a while. We had been talking about it. I guess, there had been mention of it before, last year or some, but then really October of last year is when, it was kind of, I was looking to take things a little more seriously and she wasn't. And, and it was that point I was like, okay, well, we just kind of let everything go for a while. And then it was sometime around the new year. I was like, look, if we're not going to keep moving forward, then I would like to go our separate ways. Because, I'll be 48 this year, I'll be close to 50. And, if I'd hate it if back. So that was the main reason. So, okay. From Kevin McKendry, do you think something happened on the cruise? No, 100% no. Amanda and I are very, honest and open with each other, and I definitely nothing happened like that. Let's see here. Lots of questions about Amanda, but what is your take on being a bachelor booty pirate? That's from Schmoops. There's no such thing as a bachelor booty pirate. Not in the Bahamas anyway. There are very few single women running around the Bahamas, and if they are, they're like 20, right? They're on spring break or something. So so yeah, there's not a whole lot of that going on. Do I regret the way things played out? That's implied from multiple questions. So I've been using ChatGPT. I'm actually but I don't know if you care. I don't know. I guess I don't really care. I mean, it's a tool and I'm using it. I am paying for the chat. I'm paying $200 a month for ChatGPT, and I ask it a lot of questions about business, about YouTube, and about writing. So what I did is I said, okay, I have 70 questions that's why I put in a prompt, and I have 70, and so I'm paying for the upper level stuff. So I'm paying for the very good, it does like research and all that stuff. And it's, it'll actually fact check things and stuff. I mean, it's still AI, you never know, but I said, hey, I have about 70 questions. Will you compile these into a more organized thing so everything's related, and then put them in order of what you think my viewers will be most interested in? And so it did that. So now I came up with 8 different sections with all these questions. I don't even know how many questions there are. I haven't even looked through them all yet. And I have it compiled this. So the first section here is about, our relationship, because I think it obviously thinks this is the most pertinent thing to our viewers. So anyway, so the question, it says, do you regret the way anything played out? Implied from multiple questions. No. I mean, I was hoping, I don't regret anything. No, I don't regret anything. I was hoping things would have ended differently or kept on going or whatever, but no. All right. Would you consider bringing back past crew members like Taylor or Lauren now that Amanda is gone? That's from Jeffrey. Yeah, absolutely. Taylor's kind of doing her own thing. She's married. So I don't think that's going to happen. Lauren, I messaged her. I said, hey, if you ever want to come down. She didn't respond. I don't really blame her. Things didn't really quite end well with that. Her and Amanda didn't go along great, but and so I don't know. I'm not going to like, hey, please, beg or something like that. So just kind of going with it. But yeah, so Clarice is going to come back in a few days. I've talked to Alina recently. She's up for it whenever she can get some time off. Various other people, for sure. Yeah, well, I even talked to Geraldine. She would love to come back, but she's pretty, she just bought a house in Mallorca, and she's full-time with an airline, and it's a little harder for her to get away than it used to be. So, but yes, I have reached out to people in the past, even Willa, and said, hey, anytime you guys want to come down, come on. So, and then friends and all that. So, after dating many beautiful women, if you had a son, how would you steer him around the ways people can take advantage of each other in the dating world? That's from Neem. Wow, that is a interesting question. How would I steer him around the ways people take advantage of each other while dating? Man, well, I would hope you wouldn't be taking advantage of somebody while you're dating them. I would hope it's a more honest relationship than that. I would say maybe don't be. I don't even know that I would. Man, I don't even know if I would like address that specifically, because I don't want them to be as jaded and as what's the word I'm looking for? Well, as jaded as that. I would like things to be more open and honest about it. I'd say, yeah. Especially with your finances and stuff, you have to be careful. But yeah, I would say with your heart, got to try, I guess. All right. On to the future of Sailing Doodles and crew. Start off with the first question there. What cool and exciting things are you looking forward to sharing with us in 2025? That's from Dara Hogan. 2025. So this boat, we're cruising around, going to go cruise the Bahamas, and we're going to stick around the Bahamas. I was hoping to maybe get down to like St. Martin by the end of this month, but it's such a long way down there, and then we'd have to turn around and ride coming back. So we're going to cruise around the Bahamas, and then this summer I might take a trip to like Colombia, and then maybe hop in the RV for a while and film for some glamping doodles, and then go film on this boat somewhere up in the Chesapeake and Long Island Sound and all those kind of places. And in the fall, so we're still waiting on insurance to settle. I'm sure this will be a question for later too, but insurance to settle on my catamaran that was destroyed. I'm hoping it's very soon now, because most of the paperwork's in, and I think it's just a matter of they got to get a sign up. I hope. And so it's a very well-named insurance company is the underwriter and all that. So, when they approve, knock on wood, I will gladly help refer them and do whatever. But until then, I'm just going to hold off there. But yeah, so then I don't know when the new Island Spirit cat will be ready, but probably next spring or next winter, this coming winter or coming spring. So but I really don't. I just have to know when that's going to happen first, and I don't know whether it's going to happen. So might be hopping back in this boat and heading down to the Caribbean for a while. I do something like the Salty Dog Rally or something like that. Do you have plans for live streaming with the sails up? That's from Doug. Yeah, that's a great idea. Would love to do that, and we'll have that for you sometime soon. I'm moving the boat solo tomorrow because Mackenzie is flying home for a few days. We're in Spanish Wells now. We're gonna move the boat over to Harbor Island, and then, or I'm gonna move it over there by myself. So I'm not gonna sail. It's just a motor. It's only like 11 miles around, and there's no. Well, I mean, maybe there might be a little bit of sailing. We'll check out the wind how it is. But yeah. I still might do some live stuff. So what we used to do, especially when we had the Sea Ray, is live stream underway for a lot of stuff. So you know what? We got the Starlink working on the boat and all that. I tell you what, we're going to start live streaming some when we're underway. May not be able to interact a whole lot because, well, we got to sail the boat and stuff. But for our patrons and Sailing Doodles Navy and channel members, if you would like to get some live streaming while we're underway, sign up to that. Go to sailingdoodles.podia.com and you can sign up, and I'll start posting the links there. Let's see here. Are any previous crew members coming back? Okay, we already talked to that one. That was Gary. We've been talking about it. I don't know why. So see, ChatGPT screws up sometimes. It didn't combine the two. What do financial arrangements for crew members look like? What do they pay? And what expenses do you cover? That's from Dave. Yeah, I cover all expenses. I mean, and then I help them out with some bills, right? Enough money to cover their bills and stuff, because people can't. I mean, they're helping me out. Number one, sail. They're part of the show, and I think and I know Delos does, and I know some of the other channels that have multiple crew and all that. I mean, you just have to. I mean, that's it's hard for people. Can't just go cruise for 6 months and not have any money coming in, because it's not a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, it's not a lot, but I mean, I definitely cover their expense. I pay all their expenses when we go out to dinner and travel and all that, and then a stipend to cover their bills back home and stuff like that. So yeah. When do you think you'll have a full crew aboard? I don't know. What camera am I on? Sorry, I'm just live switching here, and I can't remember which camera I'm going to sometimes. I don't know. It's a little hard on this boat because it's only really a 2, maybe 2.5 cabin boat. So my aft cabin, the master cabin, and then it's got a forward cabin that has like a full size bed and then a single bed. And so, but there's no actual door. There's only a curtain between those two. So either 2 singles up front or a couple, and but it'd be hard to do. I would like to get one more crew on here full time. Just got to find the right person for that. I did have some people. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Let's see here. Would you consider giveaways to fans to sail with you for a few days? That's from Dara. Yeah, we used to do some of that, and I wouldn't mind doing that again. We've done that before. We've done drawings from our patrons and stuff. The main thing again on this boat right now is that I don't have the extra cabin space, because Mackenzie's in the guest cabin, and then so that meant if I brought in someone, then I'd have to basically kick her out of her cabin for a while, which would be inconvenient. And it's just, this boat's not real conducive for it. Maybe if we do some flotillas in the future, we will do some of that. All right. And then now to the next section, the catamaran situation. Okay. What's the full story on the catamaran? Are you getting an electric one? It's from Kevin. It's from multiple people. So the full story, I think I've given the whole full story. The delivery crew was moving the boat from Thailand to Singapore. They started taking on water in the port hull. They think it was through the shaft seal. And the bilge pumps were keeping up with it, as far as we can tell. Eventually there was enough sloshing around with water that it got the CAN bus wet, and which controls the engines. So that shut the motors down. They were still sailing, and they had plenty of battery power. I mean, it's got 235 kilowatt hours of lithium batteries. And they were sailing to a place where they could get hauled out to do repairs. Unfortunately, they kind of overshot the bay they were going into, or trying to sail back up, and then ended up dropping an anchor in a place that was not the best as far as I can tell. And then it drug onto shore, and it ended up washed up in the beach for like over a couple weeks, and it sat in the surf for like more than 2 days. So as far as we can tell, it is a constructive total loss, and I believe the insurance company agrees with that. I think they do. And so it's just a matter of doing all the paperwork to get that done. I hope so. And then, yeah. Okay, another question: are you having a new one built or repairing the old one? So it is a constructive total loss. So it's going to it would cost them mostly the cost. They could probably, I mean, I don't know. This is my guess. I am no means saying this is how it is. They could probably repair it for what it was insured for. But the problem is they can't repair it in Malaysia where it is, so they'd have to ship it back to Thailand, and then so they got to get a barge and a tug, and then move up. It's gonna be, I think the quote they got was like $400,000 to move the boat back to the facility where they can do it. And there is no facility in Thailand, Malaysia or anywhere over there that can repair it. So, it's just better. It's cheaper to do a brand new one. And so, yes, I am on track for hole number 5. We still have the insurance to go through to get that done. Cause I still have to pay because, I have to get the insurance money to be able to buy it anyway. So we're talking about insurance. What was the insurance claim process like? Was it worse or manageable than expected? What would you do if anything different? From my end, it's been time consuming, obviously. I mean, this happened in December and it's now mid-March when I'm recording this, March 19th. It is taking time, but when you're talking about that much money involved, nothing happens quickly. But I will say Island Spirit has been great. Basically, I signed a power of attorney to them to handle my affairs with the insurance company for me, and they've been doing all of it. They've been taking the lead on everything, getting all the paperwork in. I've only needed to hand over a couple different documents that they've asked for occasionally, and so I'm hoping it happens soon. I do have an attorney that has advised me on things. He is a patron. Thank you. I don't know if he wants me to say his name or not, so I'm not gonna say it, but I appreciate you. So he's just kind of advised me, make sure I don't do anything stupid, right? See here, where'd I go? Sorry, my little screen messed up on me. And then, so I'm hoping it's relatively soon. I think the insurance company has all their paperwork together, and it should be coming around soon. So we'll see how it goes. Will you be visiting Thailand to do the following Island Spirit build? What changes are you making this time? Yeah, I will go back. I don't know specifically when. We've still got to deal with the insurance stuff. Any changes at this point? Not really. We might do some. I mean, obviously there might be some things they're changing out. We might do, but at this point we need to just move the ball along first. I haven't really thought about it yet. Are any major catamaran companies willing to partner with you like other sailing channels? Well, of Island Spirit. And then I was contacted by a couple different manufacturers. Nothing, I'm still working with Island Spirit, so I didn't really pursue those. But the problem is like if you look at any of the, sailing YouTubers that have done deals with manufacturing companies, they're all pretty boutique builders. I mean, the Beneteaus and the Lagoons and the Leopards and all that, they've got a 2-year waiting list or close to it. I don't know, maybe not now. I think they've kind of had a falling off there, but it's the boutique stuff. Island Spirit, they want to make a dozen boats a year. You got Uchimera. Nobody heard of. I had never heard of Uchimera. I think most just cruising sailors had not heard of Uchimera until La Vagabond, and same with Rapido, and then you got HH and all that. But those are all boutique small boat builders, and those are the only people that actually kind of need it. And I'm really surprised that I can understand why the big ones don't do it. I don't understand why more don't do it, because you can make a deal with a YouTuber, and obviously they need to be big enough that it's worth their while, but like if they sell one boat, they've broken even, and if they sell 2, that company's made money. For Island Spirit, we had, a few dropped off because of this whole deal, but there was 8 boats under contract. And I think 6 of them were referrals from Sailing Doodles. So clearly it works. And so obviously, that's why Island Spirit's going to do really well out of this deal. And I was going to do really well and all that. So that's why I'm sticking with them. So, all right. So on to the next section. It'll be sailing and boat questions. How does Nauti Dogs sail compared to when you had her before? Pretty much exactly the same. The handle's great. This boat has, a lot of sail. If it's blowing 20 knots or more, all I need is the head sail. I don't need anything else. 15 knots, all I need is the mizzen sail in the main, and mizzen in the Genoa. 12 or less. I mean, you can put all the sails up, but it sails really well. I'm happy with it. Okay, what's the biggest boat-related purchase you've made recently? Man, I don't know. I guess the center console for the dinghy for the Highfield. Well, I mean, no. Oh, the motor. So I had to buy a new motor for the dinghy is what I was thinking of. It was like $5,000 for that motor because the one that came with this boat didn't have electric. Well, I thought it was going to be compatible with the center console, but it wasn't. So I had to buy a new one, and that was about $5,000 with all the accoutrement. So, and then other than that, I don't know. I mean, I didn't have to spend a whole lot of money on this. I had a lot of great support from our sponsors. It'd be Total Boat. They sent a bunch of bottom paint and stuff. Probably the biggest expense was at the boat shipyard at Ted and Todd's. Them doing a lot of the work on the boat and storing it. That was several. I don't remember how much it was offhand, but that was probably around $5,000 or $6,000. I don't recall. But what's the biggest change you've seen in sailing over the years? That's from William Resch. I'd say just the amount of younger sailors that are out on the water these days. That's really changed. I did a podcast about it not too long ago. It's just the amount of people sailing that are under 40 now it used to be, less than 10% or 5%. Now it's 25% or so. You're seeing a lot of younger sailors go out there. So that's the biggest change, which is good. And that has a lot to do with remote work and maybe the YouTube videos, people seeing they can actually do it. What has been the biggest surprise about the cruising life that you didn't expect? Also from William. Just how hard it would be to get friends and people to come down because everybody's got too much crap going on. You know what I mean? Everybody says, I can come down for a weekend. I'm like, well, I can't really do a weekend. Number one, I don't even know where I am. You want me to plan out like 2 weeks? I mean, if you're going to come down, it's like a week or two really to experience it. So I guess that's the main issue I can see there. What's the difference between motor sailing and regular sailing? What are the pros and cons? That's from Future D double something, I don't know. Motor sailing, I mean, it's we motor sail quite a bit, honestly, because it may be there's not enough wind to fully sail, so you can motor, and then if you put out your head sail or put some other kind of sail, you'll get an extra knot out of it. So instead of doing 6.5 or 7, you're doing 8, right? Or or it's just such a short sail, if you're only going 5 miles, you don't want to put up 4, especially on this boat. This boat is, going back to this stuff, is more cumbersome to sail. You have 3 sails to deal with. The controls for those sails are mostly not in the cockpit. They're kind of either out on the cockpit, especially the one in the main is on the boom, is on the main mast. And so it is, if you're going to go 5 miles, geez, you'd be putting the sails up for 20 minutes and then taking them down for 10. Well, that's half the time you would have been sailing, right? So it's kind of like, a lot of times it's just easier to just motor out there, throw the head sail out. That takes 2 minutes. That takes 30 seconds. And then there you go. So it really depends on how far you're going. If it's a short passage, you use motor sail, get it done. Regular sailing, you might do it on a longer passage. What do you think of the Thai engineering, manufacturing, and communication after the experience with Island Spirit? That's from Bill Crawford. I've been really happy with it. They communicated everything that's going on. I think the manufacturing process is great. I think they built a solid boat. It's just pure dumb bad luck on a lot of these things. A shaft seal, that's not their fault. Those things happen, right? The shaft seals go, it happens. And especially on a new boat, new build. It's, look at SpaceX, right? The last 2 SpaceXs have, Starships have exploded, because they're trying new shit out. So that's just the way it goes. So I think they've been great. Island Spirit's been great. Are you still planning on going all electric over your next cat? Yeah. It's not really all. It's hybrid electric. So, yes. Electric versus diesel. What's your take? Aren't solar panels a pain and an eyesore? Well, the solar panels on that boat were never really to run the boat, run the motors. They were just for the ship's, the house bank and all that. It had almost 5,000 watts of solar. But with 5,000 watts of solar, you never have to run a generator. You have a big enough battery bank and a big enough solar bank that so you don't have that stupid loud generator humming 3 or 4 hours a day. If you didn't have solar on your boat, if you don't have solar on your boat these days, just because of the way boats are built, especially new boats, you would have to run your generator at least 3 or 4 hours a day to keep your batteries topped off. Because used to be, they'd have these big giant cold plates in the refrigerator, and it would keep the refrigerator cold all day after you just run the motor for an hour or two, but everything these days takes more power. It's just because there's more power available. That's just the way things are designed. These cats these days, they use a lot of power, so you have to run the generator a lot. And it's kind of annoying running the generator. It's loud, and it smells, and it's uncomfortable. Like this boat we're on right now, we only have to run the generator every 3 or 4 days, and that's just every 2 days anyway. That's just to get hot water, right? We do run the generator every other day for about half an hour to get hot water. Otherwise, we have enough solar to keep this boat going. Solar's the way to go. Yeah, it may be an eyesore, but it's a necessary eyesore to have. All right, on to the next sections, which would be travel and destinations. What are your sailing plans after the Bahamas? So sometime either late May or early June, we will leave the Bahamas and sail up to the Chesapeake. I don't know where I'm going to keep the boat. If you have a place for me to help keep the boat in the Chesapeake somewhere, it'll be there 2 or 3 months during the summer, in and out. We're planning on doing a cruise around the Chesapeake and then up the C&D Canal up into Long Island Sound, so... and then back down and then whatever. So if you have a place that you might be interested in letting us kind of pop the boat in to leave for a month or so at a time, contact me, Bobby at sailingdoodles.com, or go to sailingdoodles.com. So that's the plan. Are you going to Puerto Rico this year? If so, when and where? No, would love to, but it's just too far to go. We have to turn around. Our insurance says we have to be north of Morehead City by July 1st. If I really wanted to, I could probably try to find insurance that would let me go down to the Caribbean or somewhere else, but it's just easier this way to do it this time, so we'll see. What do you plan to do with the boat during hurricane season? We just covered that. I'm going back up to the Chesapeake. Next flotilla plans in the Bahamas or elsewhere. That's from Brian. I talked to Navigare at the boat show. I still have some stuff to work out with them and just fit it into our own schedule. It's possible we may do something maybe end of May or early June. I got to look at their. I gotta get with them. We'll see. I really don't know yet. Have you considered another Pacific crossing to break away from repeating destinations? I would love to. That was my whole plan with the cat, was we were going to do a loop through the Caribbean and go across the South Pacific. That's been put on hold another year. I get we're repeating a lot of destinations right now, but it's all I've got available, unfortunately. It's just the way the cookie crumbles, I can't, that's just what I've got right now. I'd love to do more stuff. I think people are getting pretty tired of jumping around on the charter boats, so I think being on this boat and cruising around will be helpful, but we'll see. How do you find hidden gems do you visit? What apps or methods do you use? So, for finding anchorages and marinas and stuff like that, you got the Garmin Navionics app, the Garmin boating app, and then on that is what they call Active Captain, and it gives you nice reviews. You can leave reviews and do all that, so I use that for quite a bit. Plus there's a few other apps. Anyway, in Europe you use a different app. I can't remember the name of them, but there's another, like Garmin's not as good in Europe, whereas in Europe you've got Navily. That's a good one for Europe. And then another one that's Aquamap is pretty good if you want a secondary form of charts that I like, being able to compare the Garmin and the U.S. government and the Aquamap charts. And also, what was I going to say there? And if you want for regulations and like procedures and stuff like that, a really good source would be Noonsite, NOONSITE, I believe, .com. And that gives you a lot of information like how to clear into countries and where you can and all the information about that. Next section, weather, navigation, and tech. What are the best apps for checking weather and wind patterns? That's from Maxine. So I use Windy a lot, Windy. That one's a pretty good one. Predict Wind, I also have that, so I'll compare the two to see how they're doing. And on both of those, you can see they have different models that they use. You can use the European or the US or something like that. Moonrise for tracking the moonrise and all that. My Radar, I use that a lot. And then what else? Predict Wind, yeah. The Garmin boating avionics, yeah. What are the best charts for the Bahamas in the USVI? So, like I just said, it'd be the Garmin boating app, and then I also will augment that with the Aqua map. On the Garmin boating map, you can look at what they call the sonar charts. Those are kind of the user-generated charts. So somebody drives their boat by and it's using sonar, it'll upload it to the cloud, and then it'll compare the charts and all that. And then also another one, and then you can switch back to the government charts, and you can kind of go back and forth to see which one looks more accurate, and then compare that to Aqua map. I do that a lot, especially if it's a little questionable. How would you truly globals? Okay, this is just weird. How has global satellite internet impacted sailing? A lot. I mean, just for me especially, I mean, I can work remote. So used to when I first started this, we had to go find a cafe or a bar or somewhere to get Wi-Fi, because the cell phone, 9 years ago in the Bahamas, there were cell phones, but like not enough to use cellular data. You can make a phone call, but you couldn't get cellular data out of it. And then eventually, like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the cellular data got good enough that you could hotspot and go to your computer, but it was still really expensive. You're paying $2 or $3 a gigabyte or more. I think some places we were paying like in French Polynesia, we were paying like $20 a gigabyte for cellular data. It was really fast in certain areas. It was not in others. It was non-existent in others. But, so it was really expensive. And now with Starlink, I'm ready for Starlink to get some competition though, so they can stop jacking us around on the different price plans. Because, yeah, if like and here in the Bahamas, as long as you stay under 10 miles an hour, you can use the Roam version, which is like $165 a month, unlimited. But if you go more than 10 miles offshore, outside of the Bahamas, or you go over 10 knots, 10 miles an hour, whatever it is, then they charge you $250 a month, and that only comes with 50 gigs, and then it's $2 a gig after that. So, but you can throttle it on and off. It's kind of a pain, and I think they're taking advantage of boaters because we have no other option, but we have no other option, right? And they can stick it to us because they know we have no other option. As soon as Google gets their thing going on, and or not Google, Bezos, Amazon, whatever, as soon as there's some competition and they can say, okay, $165. I mean, because if you're in an RV cruising around the country, it's $165. If you're on a boat and you go more than 9 miles offshore, $250 plus. And it's just like, what's the difference? You know what I mean? Your satellites are there anyway. You're just gouging us because you can, which I get it. It's because they can. So it is what it is. All right, on to finances and cost of sailing. Can you update mid-range cost breakdown for going cruising in 2025? That's hard to say, really. That's a lot up to you. If you cook all your meals on a boat and you very rarely go out to bars and stuff like that, you want to cruise around the Bahamas? I mean, $1,500 a month. I mean, but if you want to go, like we went out to lunch today, and I had 2 beers and a burger. Mackenzie had 2 bottles of water and a burger, or a chicken burger, and I believe it was like $80. Because each of the burgers were like 18, so that's 40. No, it might have been 65 or 70. It might have been $70 with tip. And so and I mean, it was a pretty good burger, don't get me wrong. It wasn't for Bahama standards, it's not bad. But you go to and that was like what they call the Buddha Shack, which was just it's not like it's pretty basic. I mean, it's cool. It's a nice little bar restaurant, but it's nothing special, right? You go to the high end, we're actually going to Shipyard tonight, which is kind of a nicer restaurant. I expect to pay for 2 people. I bet you we're going to spend $120, right? But, yesterday we had, we cooked dinner on the boat, and it was whatever. It was a lot less expensive. So your cruising permit in the Bahamas is $300 to $600 for three months, depending on what size your boat is. Anchoring is for free. I haven't anchored in, I don't know, 10 days now. I'm sorry, I haven't got a marina in 10 days now. And we don't need one because we have our solar panels and we have a nice dinghy. We have the high field with the center console. So it's really convenient for us to get around and move around. Whereas if you don't have a nice dinghy, you don't have enough solar, then, getting a marina is more comfortable because you can just walk on and off the boat. I don't plan on getting a marina I don't know when we'll get a marina next. We have a water maker, so I don't even need to do that. So I would say minimum 1,500. If you want a modicum amount of going out and, going to nice dinners and doing stuff like that, $3,000 to $5,000 a month would probably be, pretty decent quality of life. 3,000 for sure. It's not going out every night, but, enough. And then different Dara. What does the real cost of cruising look like each month? Is $3,000 to $5,000 per month accurate? Yeah, like I just said, pretty good. Do you have to pay extra for the second Island Spirit, or are they just building a new one for you? So no, I don't have to pay any extra, but because I already paid for the first one, and then insurance will pay me, and then that money will go back to getting the next one, right? So no, I'm not having to pay anything extra. All right, this is 8. There are 9 sections. Okay, almost, but there's only about maybe half a dozen more questions. Miscellaneous and fun questions. Do you use websites to find crew, or do you have other methods? I have in the past. Who did I find? So I found, oh my gosh, why have I forgotten their name? Megan and Floor. I found them on a backpacking website. And so they sailed with me for about 6 months or so. Other than that, no. No. I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast. Like the last one was like single and cruising. Like, how do you find people? There are some like Find a Crew and Crew Seekers and all that. I haven't found anybody on those. And then I did find, I believe maybe it was Crew Seekers. I don't remember, but it was, gosh, this was so long ago. What was her name? Frankie and Judith. I found them but that was like 7 years ago. So, but no, mostly it's been acquaintances or running into people. Let's see here. But there are websites that specialize in that. Will there be dive videos in the future now that you have a dive compressor? Absolutely. We haven't done one yet. Hoping to do one soon though. Do you find you keep your cool sailing solo again on Nauti Dogs after your past experience? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was a little bit nervous when I first sailed, like when I left Fort Pierce on my own and sailed out of the Bahamas. I mean, it wasn't like, I don't know. I mean, it was just you're about to go on a 100-mile sail alone. I mean, I wasn't like nervous. I mean, but you could feel it a little bit. I'm like, oh man, okay, here we go. We're doing this. I wasn't like handshaking or anything like that. But no, I've decided I'm not going to go in conditions that are even marginal anymore. Like if it's just like, if I say we'll probably be all right, then I'm just not going to go. I'm going to wait till we're going to be all right. You know what I mean? We're not going to, and when I say probably I'll be all right, I don't mean like we're going to be in danger, but it may not be comfortable. I'm only going to go when it's comfortable from now on. I'm just like, screw it. That's the way I got to do. Have you encountered sailors with medical issues, like needing medication while cruising? Would it be hard for someone with a kidney transplant to get meds while sailing? I mean, heck, it might even be cheaper and we're spending where you are. I mean, you're going down to Mexico or someplace like that, the drugs are going to be cheaper probably than getting them in the States, although they have a bad problem with like, what do they call them? Fake ones. But yeah, I mean, I'd say you need to bring them with you. I wouldn't depend on trying to find them down here, especially specialty stuff like that. But I mean, it's not like you can't fly home. I mean, there's an airport right here. If I needed to fly home tomorrow, there's 3 flights out of here at around between 11 and 12 to go to Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Whatever. I go to Miami, go to the pharmacy, pick up what I need, come back, and it costs me like $300 or $400 round trip if I had to do it. So I wouldn't like make that stop you. You know what I mean? Like, just park the boat, go home, and if you can't bring more than a 3 or 6 month supply or whatever, then you have to make a trip. So, all right, closing questions, general support, and good vibes. Thank you. What are 2 things that bring you joy? Oh man, 2 things. My dogs, Cougar and Merlin. They are the sweetest boys ever. They are very loving and affectionate and very good boys. I love them a lot. They're great. And then, gosh, when you do have just the sails up and you're cruising right along, especially like if you're in the Sea of Abaco, or if you're on the leeward side of the islands and you're cruising at 6 or 7 knots and you're downwind and you're not heeled over and it's just dead calm, flat water. Not dead calm, obviously, because you'll be sailing, but there's nothing quite that beats that feeling. It's pretty awesome. Next one. You do a great job. Love seeing the CT back. Keep up the good work. Keith, thank you, sir. And then from Amr, wishing you all the best, hoping you're having fun. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for all the cool questions there. If you would like your question asked in a future Sailing Doodles podcast, please join the Sailing Doodles Navy. SailingDoodles.podia.com should be a link popping up. Or become a patron, patreon.com/SailingDoodles, or become a channel member, just as easy. If you're watching this on YouTube, well, this is on the podcast channel. So if you want to join the Sailing Doodles channel membership, go to the Sailing Doodles channel, and then you just hit right next to where the subscribe button will be. There's a join button. You can join that. It only costs you a few dollars a month, and it really helps me out to continue doing this. So I appreciate it. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel. I'm really pushing to make this more of a thing. I'm trying to do 2 podcasts a week right now. I really would like to build up the audience for this. This would be like my retirement channel. And I'm not doing it anytime soon, but in 5 or 6 years, maybe I can still run the podcast. And I'm not. I don't. Who knows how the future of YouTube is going to go with AI and all that crap? I have no idea. But I like doing these. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.